What do you think leaders are getting wrong in this space for them to find peace and success the way you have and to start building a legacy for their kids? What are they getting wrong about having a truly balanced life?
Call you out on one thing, which is term and concept of legacy. I think it's the biggest crock of shit that we've been fed in a long time.
Tell me more.
Nothing you're going to do besides the life lessons you teach people around you is going to stick after you. When you die, no one cares how much you've earned or what kind of
Yep.
car you drove or how you dressed. It doesn't matter. So it's not a legacy. Legacy is always equated to financial success. Did you leave your business to somebody else? Take a look at the history of time that we've been tracking people in wealth. How many wealthy families still remain? Very few and far between. And generally, the ones that got to a great level of success come with a lot of controversy. They weren't necessarily the best people. A lot of them are narcissists. The legacy thing just doesn't vibe. For me, my legacy is to teach my children how to navigate life and to be
Mhm.
the best partner and best friend I can to my fiance.
Hi, I'm Christy Honeycutt, your host for Inside the C Suite, where execs get real about leadership, impact, and what truly drives high stake decisions. Today's guest is someone who has spent his career betting on himself. Kris Ramji started where many ambitious professionals do at PricewaterhouseCoopers. But after 2 years, he realized success on paper wasn't enough. So he walked away from the corporate path, invested his savings, and started building. What followed was an entrepreneurial journey that spanned dry cleaning franchises, restaurants, home flipping, commercial real estate development, and ultimately founding Slate Land and Development, where he now oversees more than 500,000 square feet of development across North Texas. But here's what makes this conversation different. This isn't a story about real estate. It's a story about growth because the defining moment in Chris's leadership journey wasn't a business win, a big deal, or a financial milestone. It was depression, a season that forced him to slow down, question everything, and ultimately become the truest version of himself. Today, we're talking about what success really means, why growth often requires breaking apart old identities, and how leaders can build extraordinary businesses without losing themselves in the process. Let's jump in, shall we? Kris, I am so excited to have you on the show. I know the man that you are, so I know that my introduction did not do you justice. I would love if you would to just introduce yourself to our audience and a little bit about what you do.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure. My name is Kris Ramji. I am the founder and operator of Slate Ventures, which is a company that has three major components to it. One is purchasing land and developing on it. The second component is sales and leasing of the land and properties that we own and develop. And the third component is managing those properties. So we're basically an A to Z real estate and development firm. And the focus and kind of theory behind that is that we want to be able to touch and feel every part of the real estate and development project and what we do. And we feel like encompassing all of the services allow us to provide a superior quality of relationships and developments to provide good investments, returns to our investors, and support and follow through for our tenants. Those are the two major components of what we do that makes us valuable. We can't do deals without investment dollars, and our deals don't have value without tenants that appreciate being in our development. So we do our best to take as much care of those two base foundations of our base as we can.
Well, and you're a multifaceted individual. Those that know you love you. But you also have a glass company, correct?
Yes, I started that company about 8 years ago with a partner. We met each other at a really interesting time in life when both of us were going through, I'll say, major transitions in our lives and in a kind of negative previous partnerships. And we decided to form a business while he was doing some work in my house. And I told him that I could find him a space. And if he gave me an equipment list, I would go get all the equipment, rent the space, and then he would know that I'm serious. And I did it. And we started a company. And here we are. Yeah, so he's been one of the best partners I've had. He runs the entire company. I've been the business side of it, but he is the boots on the ground, as they say, the guy that is the glass expert. And He's a pleasure to work with. His name's Jeff Benson.
Love that. Well, we'll have to look
Yeah.
at getting Jeff on later. So I know that your origin story did not start in real estate or in glass. Would you share a little bit about that? Because I think you had a moment where you realized corporate wasn't for you. And there's a lot of leaders that are navigating this very moment right now.
So I grew up with a family of entrepreneurs. My parents were born in East Africa, migrated to the United Kingdom when Idi Amin came in the 60s, started the genocide. Because it was a British colony, they automatically got refugee rights in the United Kingdom. So they migrated there, started from zero again, and then migrated to Canada, which is where I was born. And then we moved to Richardson, Texas when I was 7. So I am about as close to a Texan as I could get. And all they ever did was start businesses because it's all they knew how to do. And when you start as an immigrant in being kind of a forced entrepreneur, essentially you're getting into business to get yourself a job. Your goal is to pay your bills. And when of course, I was fortunate enough to go to college and get a degree and start a corporate job. And I had spent a lot of my childhood working in my mother's restaurants. She had what's called a greasy spoon. It served breakfast and lunch. They opened at 6 a.m., closed at 3 p.m. And by the time I was 14, 15 years old, I could run the entire restaurant. And so I knew what it was like to work and earn and have a team and have a staff that you build a relationship with. And when I left that and got into corporate life, I found myself complaining continually about working so many hours, but not seeing the value of my work. Because when you go corporate, they're really looking for you to show your dedication and be there 60 hours a week, which was not a problem for me. The part that was a problem for me is that the type of work I was in at PwC was IT consulting. So it's a 100% travel job. And when you're on a project, there's always a senior manager or a partner that continually visits. And when they come, they'll want to go to happy hour and go to eat because they're out of town. So when they're there, they expect the entire team to be there. That can be 30 people. And when you're sitting there, you never interact with the managers or the partners. You're sitting with the rest of the new people at a table and you're eating and drinking. And I would rather go to the gym or clean my apartment or wash my car. There's a lot of other things I could do with my time versus just being somewhere so they know I'm there. And after a year and a half, the beautiful part of that is 100% travel. So all your food and housing and everything's paid for. So I never got an apartment and I parked my car in the garage at my parents' house and I saved all my money for it. So at the end of that time, I think I saved up like $50,000 and I invested it in a dry cleaning store. And so I took a leave of absence from PwC and I got into the dry cleaning business. And when you're at PwC, you have a project manager that assigns you where you're going to go. And she called me after 6 months and she's like, I got a place for you. And I was like, I'm not coming back. And so I
You
didn't go
bet on
back again.
yourself.
Yeah. So I went
Yeah.
from wearing a suit to work every day to wearing cutoff sweatpants and a tank top. And and that was it. But I was working harder than ever. I would arrive at the dry cleaners at 5 a.m. and typically the stores closed at 7 p.m. And that would be your day. But it was rough, but it gave me a ton of foundation and a lot of
Mm.
growth and a lot of learning and built up my work ethic better than ever and just started teaching me how to be an entrepreneur.
It is hard. I see a lot of people in corporate that should probably stay in corporate. And then there's some
Yeah.
hypos that want more and are constantly hungry and never satisfied and question the hours traded for dollars. And so I think that you're talking about that particular individual because
Yeah.
you are very type A, you're a big go getter. And you have 3 beautiful boys. And what is it
Yes.
like for them having dad having this success? And what are you instilling in them based on what you've learned over all the years?
Because when you go into an entrepreneurial life, there's a lot of sacrifice that goes with it. And it's really easy to throw yourself into your work and use that as your excuse as to why you're busy or why you're not present. And that's probably the biggest challenge of an entrepreneur, aside from not having that regular ACH deposit on the 15th and 30th. That it's really something special to be able to rely upon. You have healthcare insurance when you're an entrepreneur is terrible, right? So there's a lot of things that you give up that when you go this lifestyle. And the other thing is a consistent schedule. Because when I started in the dry cleaning business, so they are open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., 8 to 5 on Saturday. In terms of retail, it's kind of luxury retail hours because it's not like being in a restaurant where you open till 10 or 11 at night, but you do start your day at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. So you're not there when your kids go to school and you're not there when they get home.
Yeah.
And I went into very quickly created a concept within dry cleaning and started building and selling my own brand of stores. So I was back to traveling 100% and building stores all over the East Coast. And I was away from home a lot. So the time that was at home was very much focused on my kids. The time that was away was really tough. And my two oldest sons are 14 months and a day apart. So I think that there was a lot of missing in the first probably 5 or 6 years of their lives, and then migrated more into being at home because I had so much time in training my construction teams and build out teams and all that, that I was able to be home a little bit more and travel 3 or 4 days a week. So when I was there, my time was very dedicated. But then as they've matured, we've really done great. We spend a lot of time together. We're very involved in each other's lives. My oldest son is actually an intern here at Slate. This is his second summer here. And I see a lot of that. I always think growing as your kids are growing up, you wonder if they're going to be one that's a lot like you or share some of your characteristics, and you just have no idea. And
Yeah.
now I'm kind of seeing that with my oldest because he's keeping a really great routine. He's working really hard. He's very dedicated to what he's doing. He works out when he leaves the office. He started eating very healthy. He's really gotten into a really well balanced lifestyle, which is exciting to see. My middle son is really into football. He's trying to earn value for the family by getting some form of football support to go to college, which is really what he's decided that he wants to give back. And the youngest is 12, so he's just kind of finding his way and getting lectured on. We're not going to wake you up. If you can't wake up to your alarm clock, you're going to miss whatever you're supposed to be doing and deal with the repercussions of it. So we're going to have a lot going on in the house.
Choices and consequences for sure. Well, they have a great leadership model, and that's culture in the home because you have to build culture in the workforce. And what you've just described to me is that your children have seen a very structured environment, type A personality, weighing the choices and consequences and the output. So kudos to you for that. And your youngest gives the best hugs out of all your boys. I'm
Yes, he
just going to
does.
tell you. So you've built this business of shopping centers, restaurants, investment portfolios. Looking back, what did you think success was back then? And then for you now, what do you think it is now? What's your definition of success?
I have this theory that every entrepreneur has similar levels of starting success. And the first benchmark is I want to make $10,000 a month take home. If I can get myself to that, I can pay for a mortgage and have a car and I'm not worrying about my bills, then that's it. And when you get there, I think it jumps naturally to 250, then to 500, and then I want to make a million a year. And that's what you start to think success is. The life of an entrepreneur, at least from my perspective, is financially, it's like this. You go up and down, but you're continuing to go up. Your new low is what maybe your last or one before that high was, right? So you're continuing to progress, but you're learning some pretty important lessons along the way. And then as you take a time now and you ask me that question, then I look back, the success part of it has nothing to do with what you earn because you start to figure out that earning money is just a characteristic. It's just a goal accomplished. Like I graduated from high school or I got a degree and yes, I learned how to make some money, right? It should be just viewed and leveled out as one of those things. But what happens is you're spending so much time trying to figure out how to make money. Basically, society at large now equates a successful person to how much money they. And I now completely think the opposite. I think that most people that end up with a lot of money end up becoming pretty shitty human beings and they have a big bank balance. And I am very committed to the fact that I think being successful is being at peace in your life, doing business and interacting with people because you want to and they want to interact with you and your company and your team being happy showing up to work every day, you being happy to show up to work every day and then getting home and still having enough energy and excitement to see your significant other and your kids and starting that second half of your day and being present for it. And of course, along the way, maintaining health. You see a lot of people that get very successful and then they're 60 or 70 and they look like crap and they're overweight or they have health issues they didn't pay attention to. And I really think that an important part of the journey is maintaining all of those things as you go. And that's what I equate success to. I feel like I have to uphold everything to the best of my ability
Yeah.
throughout the entire journey. And I didn't peak when I'm 20. I didn't peak at 30. I didn't peak at 40. I recently turned 50 and I don't think I've peaked yet either. And so I think the longer I could keep pushing that boundary and growing, I think that's success.
So someone that we both know and love really gave you a compliment this morning. And the compliment was, he's one of the most genuine, authentic, sound business leaders I know to exist today. That is an incredible compliment to receive from somebody that's not in your industry and only knows you because they're one of your tenants, they've been around you. That's a beautiful thing. For me to hear that about you was wonderful. And it made me really feel great about having you on the show because I like to elevate and lift leadership voices that most people don't have access to so we can learn and grow. And I think one of the things that your tribe knows about you is that you are very balanced and that you try to bring your whole self in everything you do, from your work to your relationships, whether it's business or just friendships. So kudos to you on that. But what's your secret? Like, because it's hard with all these challenging priorities. What's your secret to staying centered?
I mean, I would take it back to you to the fact that I went through depression when I was in my early 40s. And honestly, it really was that because to that point, I used to wear this kind of internal badge of
Mhm.
I'm doing it all because from my perspective, I was doing a really good job of being a father. I was doing a really good job of running my businesses, even when at times they weren't producing or successful. I was maintaining my responsibilities in my home. I would keep myself, I would exercise, and I used to like to be super social and I used to go out a lot. I would do all of that, wake up early and still get to work. And I actually had a panic attack that triggered a depression.
Oh, wow.
And the panic attack was actually, I think, my mind telling me that you're not living the life that you want to be living. You're checking off all the items on your to do list and you're being a high performer because you have the capacity and the ability to do that, but you're not really living true to yourself. And
Yeah.
that's what threw me back so far. And I shouldn't say back, maybe down for a period of time. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me, albeit the hardest thing that ever happened. So
Yeah.
the growing out of that has, I'll say, forced me to be very thoughtful about the choices that I make and very present in the choices that I make. And I'm very thankful for all the choices I make, even when I choose the wrong things here and there, because you're all going to. But you don't know the good choices without the bad choices, right? Like you don't
Mhm.
know a good meal without having a bad meal. You have to have that balancing act in everything you do. And I really needed that. There was a lot of choices and decisions and things I did and throughout my life regarding business, family, friendships that were just what was in front of me. And I
Mhm.
wanted to get it done and do the best job I could with it. But I was more focused on getting it done and doing the job than I was saying, does this really fit you? Is this a choice that you want to make? And what are the implications of this choice? I was just going through the motions and acting. And now I'm a lot more thoughtful and involved in the things that I do. And when I relaunched this new kind of life, I started my company Slate, and it's called Slate because it was a clean start. And
That's a beautiful story.
it was a clean slate. And
Yeah.
in every way, shape, or form, because when I started it, I actually had deleted every contact in my phone and I started new friendships and everything from zero. So people that didn't contact me were no longer a part of my life. Because if
Mm.
somebody didn't hear from me and didn't choose to check on me or follow up, it meant it was really a surface relationship. And I had tons of those. And so I've now dwindled things down. Everything in my life is more about quality versus quantity. That has now propelled me to a much better place because I'm now surrounded by people that really care about me, like the person that you talked about. And I think I have an idea of who that is. I also know that if he doesn't hear from me for a week or vice versa, we will call or text each other and say, just checking in, are you okay? And I
Mhm.
miss you and I love you. And I have so many less friendships and relationships that I used to, but the ones that I have now will all do that for me and I will do that for them. And
Mhm.
so that is just the most meaningful thing ever.
That, my friend, is beautiful because you have done the inner work that's showing up in the outer realm that we're all in and that we're all seeing. And, your tribe attracts your vibe. I know that's so cheesy and everybody says that, but it truly is. I've had the same experience of cutting back what doesn't serve me or superficial relationships, because when I do spend time with people, it is very intentional time. And I want to give, I want to hold space. I want people to feel present and safe where they can have the conversations. There are so many leaders that are sitting at that intersection that you talked about of trying to thrive and survive and also fighting depression and fear and anxiety and all the things that people don't see below the surface. So, what was going on in that time that helped you really make these hard decisions?
So my depression got bad enough that I would have never acted on it. I want to be very clear about it, but I was having suicidal thoughts. And the
Wow.
reason why I'm so particular about making that distinction is because there are a lot of people that when they get to that point, their journey or their situation is completely unique and independent. And I knew that I had a good life that I wanted to continue and find a way.
Yeah.
I just knew that what was missing for me was the fact that I wasn't making choices for myself and I was doing them for others and for other reasons that didn't apply to my journey. And so I started seeing a therapist. And then a couple months into that, I decided that I was going to start meditating. That was going to be my thing. Okay. And I got introduced to a meditation guru and he sat down with me in the first session and he said, well, tell me your story. So I gave him a 20-minute version of my story and he laughed at me. He said, every other person that comes to see me would want your life, but you don't want. And I was like, okay, like, got me. He said that what that means is your illusion of your life is skewed, and I'm going to help you reshape and re-see the illusion of your own life. And when I started doing that, I started to feel a lot of beauty and simplicity in just being still and quiet. And then I started to be able to hear myself more and listen to my own thoughts and feelings more. And I started to attract type of people I always wanted to be around and didn't understand why I didn't have those relationships. And I had so many really great groups of friends throughout the years. Tons. Like I would always have 4 or 5 different really cool and awesome groups of friends, but they were never as in depth as I wanted them to be.
Yeah.
And I couldn't understand why. And it wasn't them, it was me. I wasn't present enough. I shouldn't have had 5 groups of friends. I should have had maybe 2, and where I could be more involved and spend more time with them and get to know them better. And how much time had I really spent asking them, how are you today? And what's going on in your life? And all of the things that I was looking for, I wasn't really doing for anyone else. And it's not that I wouldn't, it's just that I just didn't have the awareness or hadn't developed the capacity to do it. And then I started to realize how many people were already so proficient. I almost feel like it should be a class that we take in school. I mean, it really should be. Rather than
Mhm.
taking maybe I'll just say history, like you should have history class, but there's certain courses that should be about developing emotional and
I
developing
agree.
relationships and how to treat people. Just basic things that overall people may lack, or people like me need a lesson on becoming aware of. And that's what I got out of meditation. And then through that, after about 3 months of going to a therapist on Wednesday and meditation guru on Friday, I quit going to therapy and I just stayed focused on the meditation thing. Because one thing that would happen is after I finished meditating and spending that hour with my guru, I would feel amazing. I would actually feel like myself
Yeah.
and myself like 10 years ago. And so I decided to start waking up every day and meditating. And I bought a meditation cushion and I would sit in my closet in the dark and meditate. And I would leave my closet the best mood ever, you know?
Oh my
And
gosh. I have to tell you this because
yeah.
your friend, my partner, Stuart Singer,
Hmm.
was looking all over the house for me, couldn't find me. And he
Hmm.
opens up my closet and I'm sitting in the floor in a dark closet meditating. And he goes, what are you doing? I go, this is my private space. I need 5 minutes. This is what keeps
Yeah.
me sane. And he just started laughing because he'd never seen me meditate. And so it's so great to hear that someone else does it in their closet or did it in their closet, because for me, there's something about being in a dark room, small, not that your closet is small, but small, and just kind of like really be with yourself because the voice is so loud. Your internal voice is actually loud. If you tune into it, it tells you what you need to know, which is beautiful.
Find that when I'm there, it's in meditation, you're taught that you're looking for silence. And I have actually now kind of changed it to my entire day should be a part of that meditative philosophy and experience. And the time that I actually spend in silence is where I kind of have these aha moments and I figure
Yeah.
things out. And I do have that quiet time. Now, as of late, I haven't had that dedication to my meditation like I used to. And in the past week, I've started doing it again because I was feeling that loss. And it was just life happening to me. Our house was being renovated, the closet. So I lost my spot and I couldn't find another place in the home that would make me feel comfortable,
Yeah.
which was really weird because it's still our home. It's a family home. Everybody loves it. Everybody likes being there, but I couldn't find a spot for myself. And so now I'm waking up a little bit earlier to go sit in the living room where I know no one's going to be. And I'm still missing my closet. I can't wait till it's finished so I can go back. But it's a really special and important thing. I'll add to that I never resonated with religion. And so I
Yeah.
couldn't ever find one that I love it for people that love it and it hits home for them. Because if for me, meditation was the place that where I got a connection and I got a vibration and I got a direction that gave me something bigger than life to believe in or bigger than yourself, right?
Yeah.
And religion does that for some people. And I respect. My challenge with religion is that it's divisive and most people are trying to influence or gain power through. And that bothers me. And you don't have that in meditation. Meditation is you working with yourself, and the only person you got to answer to is yourself. And I'm generally my biggest critic. So that was the path that fit well for me.
And by the way, you have a friend that poured 2 years of her life into a book to help people try to find space and to be able to get that time and that agency that you were talking about. Because I agree, it should be in school because if we can teach our kids to regulate themselves, they're going to make much better decisions. They're not going to make them out of emotions. They're not going to make them out of desperation. They're going to take time and honor that sacred space within themselves to really think about the choices and trade-offs, the consequences, all the stuff that comes with that, but also get like an alignment with how they feel in response to what's going on in their world, not what social media tells them or their parents tell them or the news tells them, but how do they feel, about things going on. So I really, really appreciate you sharing all this, Kris, because it's very vulnerable and a lot of people go through it. No one talks about it. And so it's just wonderful. What do you think leaders are getting wrong in this space? Like for them to find peace and success the way you have and to start building a legacy for their kids, what are they getting wrong about having a truly balanced life?
Call you out on one thing, which is term and concept of legacy. I think it's the biggest crock of shit that we've been fed in a long time.
Tell me more.
Nothing you're going to do besides the life lessons you teach the people around you is going to stick after you. When you die, no one cares how much you earned or what kind of
Yeah.
car you drove or how you dressed or where you partied. It doesn't matter. So it's not a legacy. And if you spend, and legacy is always equated to financial success. Did you leave your business to somebody else? Take a look at the history of time that we've been tracking people in wealth. How many wealthy families still remain? Very few and far between. And generally, the ones that got to a great level of success come with a lot of controversy. They weren't necessarily the best people. A lot of them are narcissists. And
Mm,
so the legacy thing just doesn't vibe for me. My legacy is to teach my children how to navigate life and to be
mhm.
the best partner and best friend I can to my fiance. That's my legacy. And through the
Yeah.
process now, if I can share my life experiences and lessons and let that add value to somebody else, that would be a great legacy. And I don't know that I even want to call that a legacy, or it just is what is going to be there when I'm gone. I want
Yeah.
to get cremated. I'm not down with this whole idea of having 8 billion bodies buried in the earth. Like, I
Me
just
too.
don't,
I wonder where
yeah,
are they all going to go. No, but I
yeah,
would challenge you on the legacy thing because I too, like you, do not see legacy as financial. I don't see it as your name on scripted in the stars. I really see legacy as like, what did you leave behind for people? How did you empower them? How did you make them better?
yeah.
How did you create space? Yeah.
Yeah. At the end of the day, the only people that get asked that question are the people that have had some type of financial success or something where people want to ask them, what's your legacy? You're not asking your gardener, what's your legacy? Right. And he
Yeah.
or she may have a way better story and a way better family life than you do. And you
Yeah.
just don't know the recipe that they have. And
Right.
that's what I mean about that. I find that it's a fallacy because I get it and I understand why people want to know, but maybe it's just lessons. Maybe that's the word for me is what lessons I'm going to leave behind. Experience.
What lessons would you
Yeah.
like? Let me ask it a different way. let's hit the heart center. If I was to ask your boys in 30 years, what was the number one thing that your dad left you that you're going to take to your grave and you're going to share with your kids and your grandkids? What would you hope that that would be?
Live your life as a value add human being to those around you, to yourself, and to the family that you're going to create.
And that should
Because
be
ultimately,
everybody's goal.
yeah, because if you can do that, life is as great or as bad as you make it. Even the great life is going to have problems. You are going to make money, you're going to lose money. You're going to have good health, you're going to have bad health. You're going to have people that screw you over and people that help. It's all, everybody goes through their version of the challenges of life. It's then how do you navigate those challenges? And then do you choose to become a negative person because of the things that happen to you? Or do you choose to understand that I am not the only person that has negative life experiences, and this experience is here for a reason, and I'm going to have to endure it whether I like it or not. So I might as well do it with the best attitude as I can. Right? That's what I want
Yeah.
them to know. Because that way they can go and navigate their lives and figure out how to live it to the best of their ability. Because I don't view me taking away their financial part of their journey of their life as a value add to their life. Because learning how to navigate yourself financially is just as important as how to educate yourself or how to navigate how to run a good home and keep it clean and how to cook food. They're all tasks that everybody has to figure out. It's just like if you spoil your kids and you don't let them learn how to clean their room, they're never going to know how to do it. If they don't know how to get out there and earn a living and contribute to make money, they're not going to know how to.
Yeah.
So I think all of those things are the learning experiences. And I think that's why, don't get me wrong, I made a comment that how many families are left that had mega wealth from the 20s, 30s, and 50s. There's not a lot of them left, but there are some that did an amazing job of teaching the next generation on how to further what previous generation created. And I
Yes.
think that that would be great. If I could accomplish that, I would be really thrilled. But I'm not holding myself to that standard. It's a goal. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, it's fine. I'm going to do my best to spend everything I earn as long as I have time here to do it.
Well, I mean, you got to have some fun. So
Yeah.
you are an individual that's bet on yourself repeatedly. You have a knack for recognizing patterns that others can't see. You've built businesses across multiple industries. You're just an entrepreneurial badass. You really are. And
Thank you.
it's an honor to get your time. And I really appreciate you holding space for myself and for the audience. I said it before, I'll say it again. You are a multifaceted individual with a deep heart and like such significant empathy that you bring to the world. And it's beautiful. Before we jump, is there anything that you didn't get a chance to share with the community? And then also, how can they get in touch with you if they want to do business with you?
First of all, thank you again for giving me this time to speak and share. In looking forward to the future, I would be honored to be able to share guidance, support, and lessons to others that are looking to start a life in entrepreneurship or are already in it and just need some guidance or some playbook ideas on how to navigate things. I think that the more that we share and learn and teach each other, the more successful we can all be. And I'm also continually looking for those people because I continue to want to grow and learn. And I always want to find people that know something that I don't and can share to help improve my journey. In terms of getting in touch, Slate is launching a new website this week. So that's probably the best way. It is,
Congratulations.
thank you. We're actually changing our website web address to slateventures.co. And that would be a great tool to use as a method to get in touch with me. Our office is here in Dallas and always open to meet, help, learn, and grow.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Well, thank you again, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode that was very heartfelt, very vulnerable, and true inside the C suite fashion, baked with leadership because leadership is vulnerable. So thank you again. Go like and follow this guy because he's up to some great things. And like, follow, subscribe, and comment on the show. Tell me who you want to see next. Until next time, ciao.